What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are back with another all-22 look, and today we're going to be diving into the offensive side of the ball for the Detroit Lions in this wild card matchup against the LA Rams. The Lions got out hot in this game, scoring early in this game, putting up touchdowns with ease, man. It felt like it was going to be like that all day long until, of course, the offside that was turned into a false start happened. The Lions had a punt. They went in a half, and then in the second half, things did cool down a little bit offensively in this game. We had some shorter possessions, but when we needed it most, an opportunity to seal the deal with the ball in our hands, a couple of the key pieces on this team, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, come through and they sealed the deal so the Lions can move on to the divisional round, which we know now will be against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a rematch from earlier this season. This time, however, it's in Ford Field. So today, we're just going to focus on the offensive side of the ball. We're going to dive into the Lions trying to slow down Aaron Donald, Kobe Turner, that defensive front, some of the strategy that it seemed that they came in with for this game, the run game schemes, man. We're going to dive into it all. So let's get into it. We'll start with the run game for the Lions in this one, and this is the thing that's been so tough about this Lions rushing attack this season. It's a big reason that they're so darn good running the football. First off, it's the flexibility of the offensive line, and this is the key, that the offensive line is in a good place right now. They're healthy, and they're out there balling, and the Lions have been able to lean on that a lot this season. Now, it is going to be a challenge against Tampa Bay because last time we played Tampa, we didn't run the ball really at all, and in that game, it was a big Jared Goff game. He was super efficient, played one of his best games of the season, and the Lions won that football game behind Jared Goff passing the football. It'd be great to find a run game this time around, and we'll dive into that later in the week. But in this game, against a solid run defense, it really was about the flexibility that the Lions had up front in this one. Different schemes, different packages. 11 personnel was much heavier in this game, but they mixed in some 21 personnel like this with Jason Kabinda in the game as well. They give you a lot of different looks rushing the football, and to me, this is a thing that makes the Lions run game so difficult for a defense, is that they can get out to the line, they can play off the front that you show defensively, they can find pieces that they want to attack. And in this game, of course, when you have a guy like Aaron Donald, man, he sets everything up, man. You play off of Aaron Donald a lot of times, in my opinion. So we start here with this run play. Of course, the Lions are already on the move here. And you can see this is the big things, right? It's the things that really don't get talked about at all. But it is like the changes at the line, just getting the Lions into the right play. That's something that Dan Campbell brings up. And I think a lot of times we can't really recognize it. However, when you see things like this, it's like, okay, I see maybe some of that example. And this, I think, is a good example of that. So this LA Rams team, we saw them kind of shift up their fronts. It changed up how the Lions want to do things schematically as the game went along. But coming into this game, we kind of knew this about the Rams, that they like to play their 3-tech on the weak side of the formation. So in this case, they have Williams at the 3 technique. Now, a lot of times that's going to be Aaron Donald kind of in that underfront look. This case, it's Williams, and the Lions are going to run at that. Now, here's the little thing that you notice on this play. You can see the little check at the line there from Jared Goff. He comes out showing this 3-tech, then they offset Jason Kabinda to the right. All of a sudden, you're going to see Williams now shift on the front. He's going to get into a 4-eye alignment, and the Lions are going to go right at that. So when they make the change, you're going to see Jason Kabinda. He's going to shoot up and take on the edge rusher. And one thing that the Lions did a lot in this game was attacking the 3 technique, and in this case, in the 4-eye inside shade of a tackle, is we're going to seal down that block, and we're going to kick up behind that. So what they run here is a counter pull. You're going to see Jonah Jackson coming around, and man, he had some really big-time run blocks. We'll showcase a few. But this is what the Lions did here. They're also on this play, again, going to use that lead fullback to pick up the edge defender, so you get the seal there on Williams. The Lions feel good, I think, about attacking that. Aaron Donald had some forced missed blocks in there for us in this one to kind of shut down some runs. But in this case, the Lions do it really well. And as well as, I love this from David Montgomery. We've talked about this a few times, but him pressing gaps to set up the blocks, right? Being very patient as a runner. I think these are perfect examples of it. So you see the seal down there from Penei Sewell, right? He tries to seal it down. You see Kabinda get up and pick up Michael Hoyt, and then you see Jonah pulling around off of that. But then you notice David Montgomery, he's going to press the gap, Ernest Jones fills, and then he's able to bounce out of it to set up that block. That allows Jonah Jackson to peel around and then set up so we can pick up that linebacker right there. Bam! And then David Montgomery just showing some of that strength, running through some arm tackles, and he gets a nice little run there to get things started. This isn't something that we really saw a ton in this game, but it was kind of a cool little example of, I thought, what the Lions did offensively in this game. And again, to me, it comes back to kind of how they play in their front. So first thing you see is that there's 5 guys on the line of scrimmage. This is a lot of what the LA Rams do. So these edge defenders, Michael Hoyt, Byron Young, these guys drop into coverage, and we saw that. I thought the Lions did a nice job putting those guys into conflict like we talked about coming into the game. And the running back, we saw how effective he was in this game. He hasn't always been effective in the receiving game. In this game, he was. Another thing that we talked about. But with the 5 guys on the line of scrimmage, as you're going to see here, and again, you see Aaron Donald now, he's He's playing on the weak side of formation. He's in the 3 technique. They utilize the fast motion here with the tight end. So they snap it like a jet motion. That, in this case, a lot of times we were having our tight ends maybe step down, pick up this edge defender, and then we'd crash down here. But in this case, they don't step down. They just shoot him out to the outside. They set up a screen quick to the receiver. Now you're going to see the cut blocks by the offensive line. We're going to quickly get the ball out. Now we set up our blocks on the outside because all of your guys are on the line of scrimmage. So we're going to do a fast motion. That way he can't step out and take that away. All of a sudden, we got numbers in our favor. It's 2-on-2. The guy has the ball in his hands. And now you got a first down for Amon-Ra St. Brown. So it's those little things that Ben Johnson always has that you're just like, man, that's creative. Man, it's creative. I never even thought of that. Here's one as well. Now, Jared Goff in this game, and you may have seen the stats, all right? You've probably seen them somewhere, about how Jared Goff performed under pressure versus not being under pressure, right? Oh, he didn't have an incomplete pass when he was under pressure. And I know I always say this. I'm not trying to make it about this. Every quarterback is worse when there's pressure, all right? It's just everybody's bad under pressure. You don't want to live under pressure. It's a problem. However, how Goff minimizes that is that he's been very good against the blitz. Well, how is he good against blitz? He minimizes it by quick decision-making. That's where it has to have. The ball has to happen. It has to get out of his hands fast. I also think his windup can be a little bit long. I think that's one of the things within his game, too, is that it's not as short, right? It's not like, boom, quick to the point. So for him, it's all about quickly decision-making, as well as one of the overarching themes in this game that we saw from the Lions offensively, and I'll move myself down here for this one. One of the overarching themes was early down passing for the Lions. So we saw some Josh Reynolds in the slot. We'll take a look at it. But that early down passing by the Lions offense, I think when I watched it back, one of the biggest keys and why that was so helpful is because of what it did to this defensive front. All right, meaning that they couldn't overload one side and make it a 3-by-1 or a 3-by-2 and then get tough matchups one-on-one with Aaron Donald, right? They couldn't do that because they had to respect the fact that we could run the football on first and second down. So the Lions passing the ball aggressively on first and second down, I think allowed them to really help themselves in pass protection. But this is just one of those nice little designs, and it's also a nice little read here by Jared Goff on this play, being very calm on this play. So here's the short motion with Amon-Ra St. Brown. And the Lions, man, very good against zone coverage, as expected. They usually are. Usually the issues come against man, very good against zone coverage. So here's the short motion. They're going to go into quarters coverage over top here. And you can see seemingly what the Lions were trying to set up. Jamison Williams, he's going to press up field and run this curl route, and he's going to try to hold this corner with him. And then you're going to see Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now, to me, he's the key here, because as you're going to see, there's the short motion. Now he releases inside of Jamison Williams. And you're going to see right here, he's going to kind of pull up and start to look inside. He, I believe, is trying to set up a corner route here. Get the safety to bite down inside. Also, Josh Reynolds drag in the middle of the field. Then I'm going to try to get him over top of that cornerback and put that guy in conflict. But as you see here, as the linebacker Ernest Jones floats out there in zone, he knocks down St. Brown on this route. So as soon as Goff sees that, he immediately, no panic, says, okay, let me go find my flat. Knowing that it's quarters coverage, I'm going to have that. With it being quarters coverage, you have 3 underneath defenders normally in this coverage. And you're going to see here with Lake from the slot, they're going to pull him back on the play out of the underneath zone. And again, you utilize the short motion to kind of set that up because now there's no immediate threats there, so he doesn't race to get out there. And on top of that, again, with Jamison Williams immediately just taking off the line of scrimmage and pressing that slot cornerback, now he's getting depth, and all of a sudden you kind of lose the tight end reaching out into the flat here in Sam Laporta in this case. So boom, it's an easy completion, and it's an 8-yard pickup. But rushing the football, I loved the game plan specifically when we got into these goal line situations. I mean, obviously the Lions lean into the run pretty heavy in these spots, and it's not to say everyone was successful. I mean, we had a 4th and goal where we had to throw it and score, but I thought the designs were there. Sometimes you just miss blocks. However, simplifying it right down here at the goal line was awesome. In the first play, we didn't get in. We got about a yard, and that's because we missed a block trying to kind of get this block on the one technique, but then we came right back with it and said, let's do it again. Let's go inside zone here. And you can see what the Lions are doing is that based on the front that they're showing, and again, you're going to see offensively here, they only have the 1 tight end on the field, 11 personnel in this case. Based on the defense, again, weak side, Donald's at that 3 technique. Here's your 1 technique on the strong side. So the Lions pick that matchup up and say, hey, let's go at that. And that's exactly what they do here. Boom, you're going to crash down there on the nose tackle. They're going to run right behind that. They're going to seal up their blocks, and they're going to attack that piece. Again, Aaron Donald to me sets a lot of these things, but they simplified it. They say, let's go away from him. Let's go to the strong side, meaning specifically we're going to attack that nose tackle because they're playing this front still. They haven't got out of it to this point. Now, even a thing like this, where the run was short, I still like the design behind it, right? Sometimes just the intent, right? It's the flexibility that the Lions utilize, the creativity in their run game. And it's something like this with Sam Laporta, where, again, you get this pre-snap motion where he's motioning right and then left. So this is a right then left fast motion on the play by Sam Laporta. And what you see here by the nose tackle right here, Kobe Turner, watch how it shifts him, because when they shift the strong side, all of a sudden their front shifts. They shift based on where the strength of the front is. So in a case like this, again, Aaron Donald on the weak side of formation, now you show this motion across, and okay, they're going to shift. Watch Kobe turn. You see him step down. Then as Donald starts to step down as well, then the Lions try to bring him back the other way to keep the strength over there, and then immediately snap the football, just trying to help themselves. That way they can seal up the nose tackle on this block with help from Jonah Jackson. Now, Kobe Turner ultimately gets kind of control of the block here, and he steps in front. Gibbs decides to bounce off of that because of that, and he gets a short run. But the design behind it, I still loved it, so it's something that I wanted to show off here. Now, back to the offensive side of the ball. Again, putting these players in conflict, but specifically overloading a side of the field against a team that likes to play a lot of shell zone coverage. So here's an example. Here we go. We get, again, fast motion from Amon-Ra St. Brown to the right side of the field. Now you utilize your running back as well, so you're overloading one side. Defensively here, they play cover 6, and we got to see a lot of this in this game. What was the Lions' response? Overload a side of the field. How do they do that? They get 3 options going one way with Gibbs, St. Brown, and Jamison. Again, Jamison's speed is extremely threatening, and I thought this was one of the best performances I saw from the Lions in terms of utilizing him, even when he didn't get the ball, to just move people defensively, just back people up, like we already kind of saw a little bit there. And you're really, to me, trying to put these edge defenders into conflict. So when Jahmyr Gibbs releases, you overload that side. Now you force him to drop out into coverage. So they roll that way. There goes Ernest. There goes the edge rusher. And now you're going to see with Ernest, with the speed that Jamison just takes off with, he's backed up by that. He gets some depth. And then you sit down Jahmyr Gibbs. He now becomes kind of like the second attention. His eyes come back to the quarterback after he takes off vertically. He looks down. He sees Jahmyr Gibbs. So now he pays attention to that for a second. All of a sudden, you've cleared out one side of the field. And then on the opposite side, right, they're playing this cover 6 look. So he's going to let you get vertical right here, Josh Reynolds. And then as soon as he gets behind the slot on this play right there, bam, that's when Jared Goff lets the pass go, and you have a big chunk over middle of the field. And again, this was early down passing. First down to 20 after a holding call. Lions were aggressive early downs, and I think, again, a big part of that was they didn't want this defensive front to be able to be super, flexible and give you all these crazy exotic looks where it's going to be difficult for the Lions to pick up, and they could overload one side. You weren't getting those kind of front looks. So while you get these little movements in the inside like this, it's the same time the Lions were picking up some of these interior stunts. Frank Ragnow, Jonah Jackson, they pick it up here between Aaron Donald Turner. Excellent job there, by the way, in the interior. That is beautiful pass protection. And then again, there was the personnel aspect. The Lions go 11 personnel. And what we saw was really not until the end of the game where things changed up a little bit. What they did was if it was 3rd and long, they would go 6 defensive backs. But a lot of the time, they would match personnel for personnel. So in this case, 11 personnel, 1 tight end, 1 back on the play. Defensively, they'd go 5 defensive backs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defensive backs. Lions with 12 personnel, they'd go 4 defensive backs. And 21 personnel, 4 defensive backs. They kind of were very, straight up just matching in terms of what we wanted to do offensively and matching the personnel that we put on the field. But to me, this is just one of those really nice designs, utilizing the speed there, the timing of the offense as well, and then setting up a big window for Josh Reynolds. Again, the 1st and long, but getting the ball passed early. They didn't want to get to 3rd down in long situations and allow this defensive front to just go crazy. And that's what the Lions had a really good plan for. And then like this, even this counter run right here, for example, you can see again, based on the front they come out in, Lions put no tight ends on the line of scrimmage, back is offset left. Then at the snap, Goff brings in the tight end, puts Brock Wright on the line of scrimmage. All of a sudden, the defense, again, their front is going to shift. So now they shift. You're going to see Aaron Donald goes from maybe aligning in like a 4-3 technique. All of a sudden, now he shift out here into a 7 technique, playing that inside shade of the tight end. On the backside, they also shift. So the nose tackle slides to the strong side. And then again, the weak side of the formation, this becomes your pure 3 technique. So I didn't think they wanted to go at Donald. When they did, I didn't think it had great results unless they were able to seal him down and pull off of it. That's where the gap scheme became so effective early in this game. But the zone running, I didn't love that. I didn't love going at Donald. This one, the Lions didn't do that very often. But here in a case like this, you get that front to shift. You feel good about this. Boom. We're going to pin it down here with Taylor Decker. Watch Jonah Jackson. This is beautiful. This is beautiful from Jonah. I was saying, very good run blocking. This was beautiful right here. Boom. Get off the ball. There you go. You open up that run lane. Then he gets up to the second level. Bam. Pick up Ernest Jones. You also do the counter run so the linebacker can't immediately fill. So he steps down, pauses, and that allows Jonah Jackson to slide off. Bam. Nasty block. Everybody picks up their block. The seal helps. You get up to the second level, and then Jahmyr Gibbs does what Jahmyr Gibbs does. And Jared Goff does this all the time, but the little RPO fake that they kind of slide in here a little bit, and you're going to see it right at the handoff. Plus, they pull Penei Sewell around on this play, so you can see with Penei Sewell pulling around and getting outside the tackle box, Josh Johnson kind of steps outside for that immediately. But then that little RPO fake by Jared Goff, Josh Johnson steps outside cleanly here. Now he's not giving any run support, and boom, Jahmyr Gibbs one-on-one with the safety that's getting blocked. He's going to walk into the end zone. As always, man, I want to give a shout out to BetUS. They've been our partner partner for this NFL season, man. Use that top link in the description. If you deposit at least $100, you can get a 125% match up to $2,500. Also, you can get yourself in a giveaway to potentially win 2 Super Bowl tickets. The directions will be in the description, and I have a short little clip that I will play right now. And as you can see, if you just place a minimum $25 bet on any NFL line, you could enter yourself to this giveaway. Now, I do need to throw this graphic on the screen right now. I do need to, because BetUS has their Super Bowl winner odds currently out right now, and the Lions are sitting at plus 900, man. They're giving us the 5th best odds to do it. Look, I'm just saying I love our opportunity this weekend, man. So maybe that's the bet that you want to take a look at is, hey, you're looking at that plus 900 and saying, man, that's disrespectful. Let me get in on that. There's your $25 bet line that you could take advantage of. Now, as you can see on here, man, if you go to that top link and you do sign up with BetUS, even if you just sign up and don't deposit money immediately, this is what you're going to look at here, man. They have all the options you could look for at the top: sportsbook, live betting, casino games, racebook. They have promotions that you should check out if you are going to look to deposit, whether it's re-up or you're a new customer, as well as once you start making bets with BetUS, you'll be joined into their loyalty program, man, where you get some awesome perks that come along with it. But as you can see here, for this upcoming week's slate of games, they have, of course, your money lines, they have your spreads, they also have your markets as well. So if you're into prop bets like we do each week, we post them over here. I put together a little parlay ticket. That is the spot for that. And on the left side of the screen, you can see they have really any sport that you could think of: football, basketball, golf, hockey, martial arts, horse racing. And then if you create an account, you can also get involved in their live betting, and we'll see those odds change as games goes on. Again, this is where I love to live. I go to this game prop side, and then I can choose on some of these like passing yards, and I can end up building my ticket out, player performance doubles, or you can also look at their pre-built parlays, which is a lot of fun as well. And you can see right here, man, the odds get crazy on some of these, man. Just a quick look, like David Moore to have 2+ touchdowns to Tampa Bay win is plus 8,300. All right, these things get crazy. So this is the place to be. Again, give yourselves a chance to win some potential Super Bowl tickets, man. I mean, hey, we're in the divisional round. I'm just saying, wouldn't you want to have those tickets? It would be great to have someone that watches this channel. And if you want to support me, man, that is a great way to support us by supporting them by using that top link and signing up with BetUS. If you're already doing sports betting, you might as well do it with BetUS, man. But that'd be a great thing to see someone that watches these videos potentially win some darn Super Bowl tickets, man. So get in on the action. Now let's get back to the video. One thing that the Rams had to change up, and the second time we gave them, I think, the exact same play. It was very similar play, if I remember it correctly. But what they did was they inverted their coverage. So underneath, they ended up being able to be physical underneath and getting the safety over top. Because where they were struggling was, again, the Lions attacking these cover 6 looks. We know that they like to play this off-zone coverage. They like to give space. Plus, you give them kind of these condensed splits as well. And again, Jameson Williams, here he gets the football, but it's still just utilizing his speed to your advantage. So they go quarters over here, they go cover 6 over here. And in this case, the Lions were able to take advantage of it early. They also utilized the play fake, of course, with the pass protection. But at the same time, again, they really had to get up on the line of scrimmage with safety up over top to throw off this timing, because giving a free release to Jameson, the Lions just use that to their advantage in a case like this. Here he's just going to press. Again, you're playing cover 4, so you really have 2 guys, and you can kind of bracket this thing in. You're going to push that outside corner, and his speed to get off the line, everybody's backing up. You get the safety to turn. He's going to plant down, and you can see from Goff, what I really liked about this throw is in his drop here, he's going to stumble right there. He stumbles to plant his back foot and step into this one, yet he's able to reposition himself, still deliver a really good pass, and the pass protection is on point again. Helped them a ton by the early passing. You can see like this, pass protection is on point, throws on point, and that's where Jameson Williams was super effective in this game. Lions were doing a really nice job of taking advantage of putting those edge defenders in the mix, specifically Michael Hoyt. That was kind of someone they went after. And I thought what I liked about this one is, first off, Lions go out there, they go 11 personnel. So defensively, they go 5 defensive backs. And that, now you're going to see Michael Hoyt's going to step outside. So they keep their 4 on the line of scrimmage. They have their off-ball backer, but Michael Hoyt's going to go out there with the tight end as they stack them both up. 2 receivers, receiver, tight end. So Michael Hoyt slides that direction. Now what the Lions are going to do is at the snap, they're going to utilize fast motion. They're going to pull Sam Laporta away from it. So now they flip it. Now it's a 3-by-1 look at the snap. Now Hoyt's going to step down. But what I think this also does is it kind of, in a way, immediately you put him in the action by putting the tight end over there. But then you also come out and you clear out the space for Josh Reynolds to run this quick little curl route, and you run the flat. And now Michael Hoyt, athletically, he's not in a position where he can change directions and really affect this pass. So they bring him down to the line of scrimmage by putting one receiver on that side and then releasing the running back. Meanwhile, on the backside, here they're going into this quarters look. You could see how much space. You can't even see the safety right now. He's deep. You can see how much space they're giving to Jameson off the line of scrimmage, not wanting to get beat over top, and you're going to see that he was open here. But again, getting the ball out quickly, staying on top of schedule, clearly was the plan. Like, we don't want to sit here and just hold the football. Let's get the ball out of our hands if we can. And right here, once they do that, now Hoyt drops out on the play as they overload the opposite side of the field, put him in the conflict. They're going to sit right in front of the defensive backs. The safety's going to shift inside a little bit, and bam, timing, curl, flat basically, and you get an easy completion there. It was like, I was talking about schematically, there was things that I liked, and I saw the Giants kind of attack them, and I was like, oh, I think this is going to work. The biggest questions that I had coming into this game was how we were going to handle the cover one defensively, and the reason was because we had played Dallas, and we saw we had some issues against that defensive look, and schematically speaking, the LA Rams play that switch man coverage as well. So here in this spot, and this is where they had their most success, man coverage defensively, they're going to switch everything off. Now you're going to see on this play, you're going to see them switch everything off. Tight end releases inside, so they pass it off to the inside help. Safety's now going to pass it off to the off-ball linebacker. Running back, again, Craig Reynolds on this play, he's going to kind of leak out, so they're going to pass that off. So the Lions' answer to that wasn't living in the middle of the field, it was actually winning on the outside. But the way that they did that was they did it with Amon-Ra St. Brown, and this is why he is so great for the Lions, because St. Brown was able to line up one-on-one with Witherspoon on the outside and go win that matchup. We also utilized some Josh Reynolds as well in the spots we attempted to, but it was St. Brown. We put him on that one-on-one matchup, and we kind of simplified things. Like, okay, you want to go cover one, you want to pass everything off on these third downs, okay, that's our answer. We're going to find St. Brown. He's got to go win. He's just got to go win one-on-one, and all of a sudden makes one of the best catches of the year just like this. You're going to see it right here. It is. Bam. It's a nasty catch. I mean, this thing, he was contested like crazy on this play, but again, they pass everything off. They take away Sam Laporta, so they take away that crossing route that we like to use, and then again, it's about, hey, we just got to find someone that can win then if they want to play one-on-one. If they're going to give the help to middle of the field because they're going to switch everything off, great, we'll isolate that, and we're just going to go to the outside, and we're just going to let St. Brown one-on-one. We'll put our best on who you think is your best, your number one corner, and we trusted our guys is going to win that matchup, and that's absolutely what they do in this spot. In that matchup, and boom, now you got a first down. Felt like they were trying to have some success playing this man coverage defensively. And this is where, again, Goff found his success, because in a play like this, even if they have guys that win, as we always say on the defense side of the ball, you still have to hold up in coverage. Like, you can win, you can beat a blocker, but if you don't force a guy past read one, a lot of times it doesn't matter, right? You have to force a guy past read one. It's usually what takes place to get a sack. Well, in this case, the Lions go up-tempo here. They quickly get to the line to snap it. Again, though, the defense is going to play their man coverage. So, Jared Goff, this is where he was great in this game. Very quick decision-making. He was very quick and decisive with the decision-making. Right here with Jahmyr Gibbs, they utilized him in the pass game. They swing him out on this play, and you're going to see quickly recognizes, okay, he carried that thing vertical. They're in the switch man coverage. They have to carry it. So, as you see here, they both carry it vertical. Immediately then, you see the linebacker starting to race out here to try to get on Jahmyr Gibbs. As soon as Goff sees that, and again, on top of this, they're also bringing a blitz here. Okay, so this is also another part, right? We hear the pressure stats. Again, pressure is different from a blitz. They're bringing five-man rush on this play. But as you're going to see, they're going to swing out Jahmyr Gibbs. He quickly sees it, plants, flips it out there to Gibbs, makes a great catch, and then Gibbs is just special after the catch here, man. He just had a couple plays like this where it's like, yep, that's Jahmyr Gibbs. That's the Jahmyr Gibbs that we know. So that was where we had the success in this one. Now, this is one of the best plays, and we showed this on Bleacher Report, so if you didn't see that, now you're about to. It's the personnel. And I'm sitting here when I first did my rewatch, and I'm like, dude, what are the Lions doing? This is the personnel they put out there. How crazy is that? But yeah, two tight ends and a fullback. The Lions didn't even put a receiver on the field in this spot. Look at this. They got a guard, they got a tackle, they put an extra tackle, two tight ends, and a fullback on the field with a running back. They don't even have a receiver on the field. And we see the LA Rams matching your personnel directly basically all game, unless it's third and long or at the very end of the game when they went a little bit heavy to try to stop the run. They're matching the personnel directly. So the Lions just say, okay, you want to do that. We're not going to put any defensive backs on the field for you. It's fourth down. We tried to run it in. We didn't get it in. Here's what we're going to do. We're just going to put our tight ends. And this is where Laporta is a matchup problem. Plus, the design is also great here because now, again, you put Michael Hoyt in the action. This is where the Lions are great. Putting him into the action. You put him in the inside slot here, and you got Kabinda out wide on this play. And you're going to see what the Lions do here. I like the design as well. You're going to see the delay here from Laporta, pushes upfield initially, then he's going to break outside. You're thinking, okay, he's going off to the flat. So now the question is the defense going to pass this off, or are they going to stick with it and try to stay over top? I mean, these aren't guys that are naturally in these covered spots. Two off-ball linebackers and a safety. This is not natural for them to be matched up one-on-one here, but they wanted to go goal line man from 2 yards out. It makes sense. Most teams do. But what happens here is they don't switch anything. So now Brock Wright's going to go down and run this curl route, and he's going to kind of float. Now, if they switch, I think this ball's probably going to Brock Wright, and you're probably going to try to throw it away from the defense, maybe kind of throw it low and away. But they don't, so Hoyt's going to fight himself over top here of that little curl route, which kind of sets a pick in a case. So now he's fighting through it. He's like, yeah, I got to get over top of this. Laporta's going to the flat. Then Laporta runs a beautiful route. Bam! He immediately breaks back upfield. Hoyt's got to try to change directions. There's no chance for him in this case. He actually doesn't do a bad job, but then it's Jared Goff's eyes. And you're going to see Goff's eyes right here. Play fake, Byron Young. You see how it holds him down with the play fake initially? Bam. Now the key for Goff is Byron Young, who's dropping out. Okay, can't throw it at that guy. That guy, I got to get him out of the way somehow. So he's going to look underneath. You're going to see they don't switch it. So now Goff wants to get Laporta into the end zone here. He wants to throw that pass. And again, Byron Young sitting here, he can't really throw a window back inside to the tight end. The only way he'd be able to throw this if he's able to drop it outside away from this, edge defender, and that would be your best case in this case. But he's waiting now for Laporta, and you're going to see with his eyes here, he just keeps holding the flat right here, and you notice how Byron Young doesn't ever drop and get depth. He kind of just keeps working down, and then Goff goes to the back of the end zone, allows it to set up. Pass protection again is on point, which is beautiful. That allows this thing to take place, and again, you're scoring a touchdown here, and you can see the winds in the interior. Beautiful. Goff's eyes, money. He had a couple throws like that. Speaking of that, this is one of the best throws I think to see from the back view. And again, what I love about this is something that we've seen, right? We saw earlier this season, Denver. They went two-man on a 3rd and long. What did we do? We tried to use Jameson Williams outside, have release inside, then break back outside so we can get away from the safety. And we missed it. It felt like he didn't really track the ball right on that play. So we've tried to find different answers. What works for us? Well, we still love using J-Mo in this spot. But how the Lions used J-Mo was they used his speed, as we said. Then it's about the timing. So Lions come out here, okay? They stack it up on the outside. They have your slot here with Josh Reynolds. Now watch the timing of the releases. So they get to the line. Jameson's just going to take off. Watch him here. Boom, he's taking off. It's 3rd and long. And what their tendency was play two-man coverage. So the Lions said, okay, you want to do that? We're going to basically bunch it all up, and we're going to have Jameson take off the line of scrimmage. Now, you're going to see how this caused an issue immediately, specifically here with Russ Yeast, who's stepping down on this play with Josh Reynolds. You're going to see where this caused an issue because as J-Mo just takes off and Josh Reynolds hesitates, now all of a sudden, again, with him going vertical, they don't pass this thing off. So now all of a sudden, and they have two-man help over top, so they're being aggressive, right? They're playing underneath. They're just going to stay with this, play through their help over top. But now all of a sudden, they run into each other. So now Jameson's taking off. You're thinking, oh, the ball still went there. Well, no, because what that does is not only does it create kind of a mess there, but it pulls the safety again. So he takes off, but you see how everybody else kind of delays it? Specifically, Josh delays it, breaks out. But St. Brown also takes a second here. He steps inside and then back outside. And really the big key was Jameson Williams, you pull that safety like he does with his speed here, and then St. Brown's going to kind of work himself behind it. He's got to win off the line, which he did multiple times. Who was our 3rd down answer? It was Amon-Ra St. Brown in this one. It wasn't Laporta. It was St. Brown on the outside. It's just like this. Step inside, bam, plant, break back outside. This guy can't keep up with me. He may be long, but he can't keep up with me at the line of scrimmage is basically what the Lions said. And these are great examples of that. You want to be aggressive. We understand that. You got your safety help. You're going to be able to allow us to get over top, and you can play in trail. That's fine. So what the key is the Lions have to get the safety out of the play. That way the safety can't be over top help. So he's in trail here, but guess what? The over the top help is not going to be there for him because Jameson Williams taking off the line, going middle of the field, and then pulling the safety to the corner. He opens up St. Brown, and now the guy that's in trail has no help over top. And again, you set it up there with Jameson Williams. And what you love about this as well is the eyes of Goff. Now watch it from this point of view. Watch the eyes here of Goff. Again, pass protection is money on this play. The Lions handled it well here. Wasn't perfect all game. The more situations they had to be in which were obvious pass downs, the more you saw like, oh, that wasn't so great. By the way, I love the tight end work. This is probably the best thing here. Sam Laporta one-on-one with Michael Hoyt. Beautiful. I mean, just beautiful. Are you kidding me, man? That is what I'm talking about. They try to run these games, the interior, the Lions handle that. But it's this man right here. It's Sam Laporta winning one-on-one. But then it's Goff's eyes. Because he has time, see him, he recognizes the safety right here. He sees the safety, okay? Now, watch where his eyes go. He starts to look back to the middle field. He's holding. You see where his eyes are? He's looking right here. He's trying to hold that safety. So now he's going to look middle of the field, understanding Saint's about to break outside. Let me keep that safety over top inside. And then all of a sudden, bam, almost looks like a no look here. Boom, fire it to St. Brown. Safety's not going to be there to make a play. I put it on him. How about that? Hey, look, Stafford throws some beautiful no looks. I'm saying, all right? But the eyes here from Goff now twice. Two beautiful plays. You can see it from this angle because now you know what to expect. So watch him plant, wait. Now look at his eyes. He comes back middle of the field. Here we go with Jameson Williams. He wants to pull that safety. Safety's drifting back, and now he can kind of look it off. Boom, hit St. Brown. We see you go. We saw the run game efficiency drop in the second half, and I think, for some of us, it was like, man, our Lions is doing something different schematically. Why'd they get away from what's working? To me, it wasn't necessarily that. There was really one instance where I was like, I don't know if I love what they did here, right? But this is something we saw in the first half. I think we already showed the clip here. This is what the Lions were doing. So it wasn't necessarily that they changed it up. It's that the fronts changed for the LA Rams throughout this game. They started getting out of putting their 3-tech on the weak side of the formation. They started shifting to the strong side of the formation. So they started changing it up, and the Lions had to adapt, and that's what makes them so tough is that they can adapt. The issue was we've just missed some blocks in some spots. Like this, Aaron Donald is elite. Sometimes the block doesn't hit. So the Lions, again, are going to try to seal down with Penei Sewell, but he handles it here. As you can see, he sheds the block, he handles it, and again, the Lions are doing the same thing. They want to slam that down, and they want to move him out of play with Penei Sewell. Aaron Donald's so low to the ground, his leverage is great, and you're going to see Aaron Donald is not going to be moved at the point of attack. So now when you set up this counter run again, you have the pullers come around. Here comes Jonah for the edge, tight end for the linebacker. Everything's real messy there. Now, maybe he could have slid through right here, as well as Laporta didn't have the best block. He's forced to bounce out of that, and he get a short run. So that example, it's not necessarily that the offense changed what they were doing. Sometimes you just lose blocks. Now, in this case, again, it's what we just said, right? You got a guy that's long. He's tough at the catch point, which is why St. Brown's catch was even more impressive. But then at the line of scrimmage, St. Brown was like, yeah, you can't hold me here. All right, that's basically what it was. And I give credit to the Rams in this sense. You can see that they hid their coverage as best as they could. They held it to the last second, right before Goff snapped it. Safety moves. They tried to hold their coverage. But, again, they're playing man in these third down spots. And the Lions just simplified it. St. Brown, just go win. We're going to put your best on our best, and we're going to say our guy's going to win that matchup more often than not. So even in a case like this, you're going to see defensively look too fast. It doesn't matter if they have the extra rusher. The ball is out too fast. Hoyt drops out. You bring an extra defensive back from the back end. He would have been able to get there, right? He would have had a free rush to Goff. The ball's out too fast, and that St. Brown just saying, you can't keep up with me at the line of scrimmage. I'm just going to beat you off the line. Bam, snap inside, break outside, fade. One of the best passes of the day from Goff. Just dropped it on him on a third down, and he pick up your big chunk play.
Now I'm going to give you my theory on why the Lions continue to play St. Brown in the slot in the second half versus out wide like we saw in the first half, try to get some of those one-on-one matchups. But here, this was a sack that we saw on TV, but we didn't get to see what route combinations were actually happening in the back end, but it looked like there was a shot about to take place here to Jameson Williams. First off, they go 3-by-1 initially, and you can see the single high safety is cheating towards the field side here. Then with St. Brown, who ultimately becomes the slot receiver after the motion on this play, he's also going to take the safety's attention. And then you notice through Jared Goff's drop, where his eyes are immediately, he's looking to hold that safety. And on the bottom, they essentially isolate one-on-one with Witherspoon, and he does not have the speed here to match up with Jameson. So this felt like one of those spots on a second down and 10 where, again, staying aggressive on a second and long, yet at the same time, it was a chance for a shot play. And they about had it if, again, we didn't get sacked on this play. But you could see what they were trying to hit here.
In this one, I don't even know this. You just showed a sideline view of this one. Just simple. They're in quarters coverage. Okay, St. Brown's in the slot. Hoyt, you want to drop into coverage? Great. We're going to put you in the action. Try to get contact. Nope, not going to happen. Drop it off middle of the field, and we got ourselves a big chunk play. And again, I think this was on a second down in this spot as well. So again, passing on early downs. Anytime they weren't successful on first down, they came back and threw it. It's why the last two plays, when I watched it initially, watching it live, I'm like, man, they were aggressive, right? They threw it to Montgomery. They threw it to St. Brown on second down when they were trying to run the clock out. But it was actually not aggressive. It was just the game plan coming in, and they just carried it throughout. They just followed what they did all game. It's not like the Lions broke character. They just did what they did all game to give themselves some help. And a play like this is a great example. How about Jonah Jackson? All right, it wasn't perfect. He lost multiple blocks. But man, there was good examples like this. This is awesome. Look how fast he gets off the ball here. Bam, he's in his stance, right? Now they all of a sudden are going to try to run this little game in the interior. Jonah Jackson, he's out of his stance quickly. He's able to pass it off here with Frank Ragnow, and they just handle things in the interior really quickly. But again, this was one of the things the Lions did. 3-step, 5-step drops. Get the ball to Goff hands early. We saw it early in this game, right? Early downs, we're going to drop, and we're just going to get the ball out of his hands. And you can see right here, defense goes Tampa 2 defensively. They take away the first two reads, and this is something that Goff has thrived in since he's been a Lion, is getting through his progressions fast, right? Very fast through his progression. So 1 to the flat, doesn't like it. 2 to the little out route that kind of turns into here for Jameson Williams, doesn't like it. Now he's on to number 3, the timing of the offense, edge flies by, slides through, bam, deliver, got an 8-yard chunk on first down. And that's where the Lions had success, was throwing early into this game. Lions, and this is one I didn't love. I didn't really love this. I thought in these spots, if you're going inside, right, I like trying to seal it and get off, get maybe an inside zone play. And In outside zone, when he's at the 3 technique and you're running towards that, I didn't love that to the strong side. I would rather went to the weak side. You're going to see the Lions did that. But here they go to the strong side. It's not even that block, though, that blows this up. It's more so Laporta kind of lost his block here. Linebacker shoots his gap. So now all of a sudden Gibbs has to get outside of that. Laporta kind of loses his block right here, and it limits kind of the gain on the play. I didn't love that. That's not something I would have done, but that was really the only play I was like, I don't know if I loved what they did schematically in that spot. But that was really the only play that I felt like that. Then even here, right, you have the one where he kind of gets tripped up and he takes the sack. Now, when you watch it back, he tripped over Taylor Decker's foot. That's what ended up happening. His foot got caught on Taylor Decker. But you can see what he was trying to wait for here. So the Lions, again, what Ben Johnson does so well is he puts things in the sight line of Jared Goff, specifically on third down. He does a really nice job. Sometimes the designs aren't always perfect, and we have to adapt. We have to learn, kind of like the Dallas to this game. We were much better here. Our answer was Amon-Ra St. Brown. But at the same time, one thing that we saw is he always tries to give routes in the sight line of Goff. That way he doesn't have to go from this side and say, okay, let me go try to find someone else on the opposite side. You're not going to have a chance to do that, especially on third down against a good pass rush. And on this case, you're going to see here, first read for Goff, he's going to try to put St. Brown in the slot. He's going to break this out route, but it's covered up well initially.
One of the adjustments that I wasn't completely sure why Ben Johnson made was starting to put Amon-Ra St. Brown to the slot. Maybe it was just to give a different look to defense. The one conclusion I kind of came to of maybe why he started to do that as this game rolled along is because whenever St. Brown would align in the slot, and if they were going into man coverage, they would not be able to put like an edge defender on St. Brown. So they no longer had a lot of flexibility in terms of like, oh, is he rushing or is he going to drop out? They were forced to basically put a defensive back matched up across from him or have the safety roll down and take it. They could not put an edge defender over Amon-Ra St. Brown. So that's my one thought. Didn't completely understand outside of that why they started doing it, but when it mattered most, it came through, and it also could have been just a different look for the defense. However, maybe they just wanted that Lake matchup. The Witherspoon was working, but they started to go to Lake, and it worked when they needed it the most. But that's my one thought on that. Like here, for example, you see Josh Reynolds in the inside slot, but they don't really give him that respect in terms of putting a safety no matter what on top of him. They allow Michael Hoyt to drop out and take him underneath. With St. Brown, they weren't allowing themselves to get that matchup because they knew they could not match up in that sense. So it's almost like with the Lions putting him in the slot, they kind of were able to dictate what the defense was able to do, limit them and say, hey, you're putting a DB on this guy. You're not leaving him one-on-one if it's man coverage, and you're basically going to tell us that straight up immediately once we put him there.
So Goff now is going to start to move away from that. Plus, as you're going to see on the front here, this is why the Lions wanted to avoid these situations by passing on early downs. Craig steps in to pass protect, but as a front, Aaron Donald's out wide. So the Lions slide their line. They slide their line to that side. Also, it's a 3-by-2 look. So they're going to slide to Aaron Donald's side on the play. Boom, there's the slide. So they allow Craig to step in one-on-one. That's fine. The issue here is this. He's waiting for St. Brown, hits his back foot, feels the pressure from Jones, so now he steps up, and he's now going to try to hit St. Brown over here. This thing's covered up well. Goff doesn't like it. The next read would be Josh Reynolds. And in this case, Josh Reynolds was actually open. Don't completely pass this thing off on this play because they dropped out Hoyt on the play and they brought Ernest Jones. Hoyt kind of was like keeping it on the running back. The running back stayed in the pass protect, of course, but you don't get that pass up here on the crosser here with Josh Reynolds. So he would have actually been the second read that was open.
A play we saw earlier in the game kind of goes back to the two questions I already brought up. First off, Amon-Ra St. Brown at the top of the screen here. This time, he doesn't create a ton of separation. It also takes just a little bit long here on this play to get this out route. And again, it falls incomplete on this play. But also, again, at the bottom here, you see Josh Reynolds. Clearly, they were trying to pass this thing off. I would assume even with the other play, they still wanted to switch that off underneath. It's just that Michael Hoyt didn't really see it because it went behind him and he was trying to show blitz. Like this case, this is how it's supposed to look. Off-ball linebacker sees it, they switch it off. But even here when passing it off, Lions, again, the idea was you still want to put them in the action. So if I could still work across the field and I could still work through that linebacker, even if they pass this off, I still like my guy running away from him. And in this case, again, Josh would have been open on a play like this. I think when you notice matchup for matchup, it's one of the matchups I expected coming in, which is going to be Josh Reynolds against Witherspoon because of the size, the length. And I think for the Lions in this one, while St. Brown made some incredible plays early, and he was really good, especially when they were giving some of those off-man looks, and we saw that at the end of the game versus the slot. But when they would press, it wasn't that he had issues getting off the press. We saw one of the wins was just immediately getting off the line of scrimmage. But I think for them at the top of the route, length for length, a contest situation, I think they wanted to play probability and say it's probably better odds if we give Josh Reynolds those looks because they're not shadowing. They're not saying, hey, St. Brown, no matter where you are, Witherspoon's going to foul. They're just playing based on where you align. So I think that may have been also another reason why the Lions said, you know what, we like what what St. Brown's done. He's been awesome, but we do like the matchup better on paper of Josh Reynolds in that spot. And honestly, if the bet throw was just better, he probably hits him, and he probably makes a contested grab with some of that size and length at the top of the route against Witherspoon, the drive before the ceiling drive.
Well, you're going to see for Goff, your time kind of runs out. So he steps up here. He's waiting for Saint. Now he could try to get to that second read, but right here, you can see he trips on the tackle's foot. So now he's not in a position to actually throw this pass, and then he just starts to stumble. I thought he was trying to scramble watching it live. I think what happened was he just started to stumble. He probably would have stood in there, but he starts to fall. So then he tries to just catch himself and see if he can take off, and he can't. He just falls over on the play, and that's just what happens there. It's just as simple as that. But then again, what I liked here is, again, okay, putting Donald on the strong side of the formation, great. Let's bring in St. Brown. Let's do a weak side run. Let's get St. Brown for some support on this play, but we're not going to run towards Donald. Let's go to the strong side of the formation. Let's go to the weak side of the formation. Let's go seal up Kobe Turner, bam, right there with Graham Glasgow, and then we're going to ask Penei Sewell to seal off that edge defender. We're going to shoot through the weak side of the formation. So again, the ability to adjust, run all these different schemes, that's what makes the Lions such a threat rushing the football, is that they can get in and out of different packages, different schemes. They can check it at the line of scrimmage. That's what makes them difficult. And then, of course, here, the pass that was missed, you still saw the idea of how they wanted to find their answer. And you could see, again, as a pass rush front, you get a rusher inside. He steps inside. Taylor Decker oversets here with the chip there from Amon-Ra St. Brown. He oversets here. This is why the Lions didn't want to be in these spots, third down situations. They were aggressive on first and second because they didn't want to be in anything that was third and 5+. They wanted to have a run game threat because they knew that, man, if they can set their line up, if they can overload a side of line of scrimmage, they're going to be able to get pressure on us. So in this case, same answer for the Lions. Let's run this curl route. This time we're going to do it with Josh Reynolds. This case, Goff just a little bit too much, just over his head here. It was his biggest miss, I thought, of the game at the time. But the great thing was he came back and he redeemed himself. And then these last two plays, which were the game-sealing plays, again, when he matters most, who do you put in the action? Michael Hoyt. They just took advantage of it. Defensively, Lions go 11 personnel, so defense goes 5 defensive backs on this play. The next play, they don't do that, right? They're going to change out of that and go heavy. But again, what was the answer for the Lions? Put that guy in the action. So again, quick recognition from Goff.
This is another example of what the LA Rams started to lean into, which I would have thought coming into the game they would have done because they would have seen the past games. Again, trying to go to this man coverage defensively, so you can see their safety at the bottom of the screen is going to roll over top, and then as well as you're going to see how they give the help, but again, they're focusing, they have to put a defensive back on St. Brown, not an edge. They'll give that inside switch-off help, but they have to put one on him initially, and Goff, quick recognition there, sees that, again, once they both go vertical, both DBs drop back. Now I know, great, this is manned up underneath.
Both cornerback and the safety sitting deep, no one's diving down, this guy's in the flat. Goff quickly recognized it, said, okay, let me just get it out to the flat, and then Montgomery in space, we just beat up that matchup. I mean, that's what it was. A lot of times it was bap. When we needed it most, that was the guy that we win at. And then again here, now when you're trying to seal the deal, you're going to go to a run play first off. And again, this really started to go heavy personnel. But again, that play was on a second down where you picked up the first down on the second and where you picked up the first down on the second and 7. And then even here, the second and 10, Lions go pick up the first down. Now again, you can see with the run blocking case here, Penei Sewell in this play kind of cut off. He lost the block. He fell down. So now you lose a blocker when you try to again set up kind of the counter run on the play. That's where you have an extra defender for the running back. So sometimes you just miss your blocks. But again, the Lions didn't change character. Second and 10, they didn't say, let's start a run it. Let's be very conservative. They said, hey, we're not afraid to put the ball in Goff's hands. We're going to trust him. We've done this all day. We're not going to break character and what we think works game plan-wise just because, maybe we're worried about he might miss it or something. No, that's their game plan. That's having full confidence in your players in its own way. It doesn't feel like the aggressiveness of like, it's a 4th down and 8. He's trying to go for it. But it's still aggressive in the sense that he didn't back off of the game plan, trusted his guy to execute the game plan as they had coming into the game. And you can see here, Lions put one tight end on the field. But again, man coverage is where they were having success. As you're going to see here, Michael Hoyt steps down at the snap. Safety picks it up. Now all of a sudden with the back, this is where you're going to get the switch. So Josh Reynolds sits underneath. They pass off to Ernest Jones, which means the safety has to step down and take away the running back because they're bringing a 5-man rush. And also, again, passing on early downs. You're going to see here from the defensive front side of things, they can't completely get into a pass down front. So the Lions aren't forced to slide. They can play man-on-man here, basically in pass protection. 5-on-5. Everybody does their job. Shot it to Jonah Jackson, man. Getting off the line of scrimmage, getting off the ball was key. Boom, got in his chest early, handled it when we needed it most. And now because of that, you get the one-on-one with Lake, St. Brown in the slot. And the Lions simplified it here, getting the blitz Look at the route at the top there, man. That is pure route strength from St. Brown. He just wins. He goes right through the corner. Bam, right there, right through the corner. Gets him off balance at the top of the route. You're going to see the break here, outside, outside. Bam, gets him off balance right here, pushing upfield. Now he goes, boom, into the route contact, route strength. He's off balance. St. Brown's on balance. Now he's able to get back to the ball, and then Goff does his thing, makes the great read, puts the ball on him, starts right, comes back left, plant, put the ball on him. Bam, right there. And Decker lost his block late, but you still put it on him, and you could see they stuck to their game plan, and their game plan was phenomenal. So Lions, yeah, I mean, the run game, it did back off at times in this game, but it wasn't necessarily a situation of like, man, what are the Lions doing? They just stopped doing what's working. It was sometimes you just misblocked. The Rams adjusted schematically, so they found ways to try to slow down our run game. They tried to adjust to what their front was going to be. Lions came in with a good plan. They had to adapt as the game went on. Their passing attack made a ton of sense. They had a plan to deal with the switch man coverage. They said, let's lean on our matchups. Let's trust Saint. Let's trust Josh. And then again, the pass protection, a lot of the plan was we're going to protect them with when we do our play calling and how we play call. And the Lions, when it mattered most, got it done. So fantastic performance, heck of a win. We may move on to the defense next. We may do the defense. We'll see how this week plays out. But it's on to Tampa Bay next. And man, we got a challenge. We scored 20 against them. Goff had a massive game, but we'd love to find a rushing attack. Being healthy, I trust it, but it is one of the best run defenses in football, and you know they like to bring the blitz. Lions handled it last time. Now it's part 2. Thank you, Pride, for watching, and I'm out.